Welcome, everybody, to Republic Light. My name is Liz Toro. I'm your host, doing interviews this whole month of April. Really excited about what's coming and all the candidates that are up to be able to be on the ballot for Davidson County. Today, I have Jon Welborn, and we are excited about having him on board today in this interview, and he'll be talking to you a little bit. In the meantime, I would like to let you know that he has been endorsed by Lieutenant Governor Mark Robertson. He's also been endorsed by Supreme Justice Phil Berger and Superior Court Judge Lori Hamilton. Thank you so much for being on the program today, Jon. It's a pleasure to have you. So can you tell the voters out there a little bit about yourself and how this all began?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I'm Jon Welborn, born and raised here in North Carolina, about 30 minutes from Lexington in Wilkes County. I am married, got two children, two daughters, 12 and 8-year-old. My wife, she's a teacher, teaches at App State. I live inside Davie County, but I'm running for a seat, a district court judge seat that encompasses both Davie and Davidson County. One of the 6 district court seats in our 2 counties I'm running for. I'm a lifelong Republican, conservative. I was previously the party chairman in Davie County, the Republican Party chairman in Davie County for the past 4 years. And then our 13th congressional district, back when Davie and Davidson were together, prior to this last redistricting, I was the vice chairman for it for the last 4 years. Fairly active in the community, serve on multiple charitable boards, including the Masonic Home for Children, Family Promise, Davie County, and more of the charitable organizations that deal with children. That's sort of my passion, and I like to give back when I can.
And that's the best thing to do. Now, I know you're running for judge. Why then, can you explain to the public, why is it important to have conservative judges on board?
I'll say, I guess, at district court level, which is sort of your lowest level trial court, it's important for a variety of reasons. Obviously, we would just be applying the law, not making law. We're not appellate judges that analyze the constitutional, basis for actions. We simply apply the law that our legislators, like Steve Jarvis or Representative Potts or one of those, make the law in Raleigh. We apply the law. So for district court, I mean, it's conservative judges are important all around, but I think usually the conservative ideologies maybe are more important at the higher levels of the court, where they're analyzing, whether this law is just and constitutional or that sort of thing. But I still think it's important, at least at our local levels, because you've got, conservative principles and, accepting of personal responsibility and work ethic and things of that sort to make sure the court cases flow smoothly and quickly, that everyone's treated fairly and impartially, and essentially dispensing justice to everyone the same way.
So I'm curious, what kind of made you go towards that pathway of being a judge? Is it because it was something that was already in your family? Was it something that you simply liked in high school and you wanted to do, or just was something that came up and you're like, you know what, that's a good idea?
Yeah, and that's a great question. There's probably not one specific thing that sort of directed me on this path. I mean, because if you'd asked me 20 years ago what I wanted to be when I grew up, I had no clue, at the time. And I sort of got interested in the legal area aspects when I was in undergrad at App State. I was majoring in criminal justice and political science at the time. So I got interested in that stuff, and then just decided to see how I did at law school, sort of went down that path. I don't have any family members, at least close relatives, that are politically active or lawyers or anything of the sort. So it's a shocking path that I've went from just looking at my family. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was an insurance salesman.
Look at that.
So it just sort of directed me this way. And I've always loved the law, and particularly I love the trials, the trial court atmosphere, which is what a district court judge would be. I'm much better at just being in court. And so, over my 17 years of being a lawyer, I've seen good judges and I've seen great judges and I've seen bad judges. And how much of an impact they can affect,
yes,
on the day-to-day operations of our court system is amazing. From the flow of cases to how they treat individuals. And in district court, it's a court where the judge typically decides, cases like child custody, child support. They'll, make rulings in criminal court, incompetency, juvenile matters. And those decisions are a lot of times, lifelong decisions that will affect children or adults for the rest of their lives.
So can you explain to us, especially those of us that are not familiar with it, being in a courtroom, what are the levels? Like you said that district was kind of like the basic foundation and then they go up. So what would be those levels?
Yes, ma'am. And one of my friends, District Court Judge Michael Stadden, who's running for the Court of Appeals, sort of summarized it better than I could. So I was sort of steal his language, but he said, your district court is essentially your workhorse. It is most people, if they've ever been involved with the court system, whether it's getting a traffic ticket or underage drinking charge or something like that, those type of cases are in district court. Or if there's child custody or child support or small claims like, somebody cuts your trees on your adjoining property, then maybe there's an action against them for that. So that's your lowest level trial court. And then above that is what's called superior court. It's still a trial court, but it's the, one that's specifically enumerated for like jury trials, things of that nature. So it's your more serious, it's your homicide cases, it's your, rape, very serious criminal offenses, it's your multi-million-dollar medical malpractice type cases, and that's superior court. So that's still the trial court, but it's the highest level of our trial court. Then above that, you have the Court of Appeals, which are 15 judges from across the state, and they make decisions based on appeals from the trial court. So I was
somebody wants an appeal, they claim it, and then it goes to the next level. Gotcha.
That's exactly right. And then above the Court of Appeals be our Supreme Court.
Supreme Court,
which is, the highest level of court in our North Carolina court system, and of which there's very little appeal higher than that. At least on state law, there's no appeal higher than that. So there's basically, 4 levels of court.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Yeah, because the reason why I say I asked those questions is because if someone would have asked if I was going to be in politics, I probably would have said no, because it's not something I was desiring, but moving forward, it just came up. And yes, I probably will be very much involved in 23, 24, running for Davidson County Commissioner as the first Latino running for Davidson County Commissioner there is, right? So, but not something I desired from the beginning, it was something that came up because many of us, as you know, within the Republican Party, we are constitutionalists. We believe in the right for people to make sound decisions, but if those decisions go wrong, obviously there are penalties for that. And I do believe in the law of the land. So I want to encourage people to see these videos so they can see the candidates that are running for Davidson County, that we are real people. It's like we are worried about our nation in the pathway it's going, and we want to be able to make things right again. And to do that, we have to stand up and we have to participate in the different public offices. And so I know judge, of course, that's like huge, the huge part. And so I really thank you for your time. But before we go, I want you to tell your voters out there how they can get in touch with you. Do you have a website? Can you let them know?
Yes, absolutely. It's spelled just like my name, JonWelborn.com. So JonWelborn.com. I think pretty accessible through most every social media, from Twitter to Facebook to all of that. I'm fiscally conservative, so that means that the cheapest advertising is a lot of times through social media. So I try to take advantage of that as much as possible. And then, yeah, I mean, if you Google my name, you should be able to see my office number, my email. Everything's out there and in public domain. So if you can't get a hold of me, then that's not due to a lack of my effort in trying to make myself accessible.
Now, quick question: Are you presently practicing?
Yes,
right now. Okay.
That's right. But I still practice. Have been for 17 years. And I have my own little law firm here in Davie County, but practice in both Davie and Davidson.
Well, thank you so much, Jon, again for your time. We really appreciate everything that you all do for getting this country back on track. And those of you that want to know a little bit more, you can look us up at www.republiclight.org. We have all the interviews there in our interview tab as well for all the candidates that have been running. We've got about 3 more coming up for the month of April, and hopefully we'll get everybody on board, and by May we'll have everybody out there. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you then.
Thank you.